Hey everyone, welcome to DIY Declassified. I want you to say goodbye to that fear and that anxiety that comes with tackling your everyday DIY projects, because here, I'm going to show you how to conquer them all. So we are going to tackle a huge project. It is a project that you can enjoy with your family for years to come. With that, we are going to be building a deck. Now in this episode, we're going to teach you guys how you're going to do your layout and how you're going to actually lay your footers. It is going to be the foundation of your deck, so we've got to make sure we do that stuff properly. Let's go.
When I decided to attack this project, I did not know a whole lot about building decks, so I researched many resources to learn, including this ultimate guide to decks. One of my favorite resources that I heavily used was decks.com. Now, I'm not sponsored, affiliated, or really have a bias to use this site. I simply just liked what they offered because they made building my deck a lot easier. What I love most about this site is that they have so many free plans to choose from with options to customize to your specific size. My favorite resource for knowledge on this subject was, of course, YouTube. I watched hours of videos from many great content creators and gained many tips and skills that you will see me use throughout this series. After all my research, I took it to paper to draw out my plan. Here I was able to lay out every board, beam, and connection and really build myself the best materials list possible. Getting started with the layout, you will see me hammering in some batter boards, which you will attach your string lines to get the layout of the deck. In this illustration, you will see the yellow marks represent the batter boards and how I am placing them. Each batter board is connected by a string line represented here as orange lines. There are many methods out there to ensure your layout is square. Some people like a lot of math and use the Pythagorean theorem of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Others, like me, prefer no math. The way I find square is by measuring the distance between the opposite corners, and then compare the measurement to the measurement from the other two corners. If your measurement does not come out the same, adjust the string to the right or the left of the batter board and try again. Once we have found square, we are going to establish our post hole locations. I'm placing a post hole at the two locations where my lines cross, then evenly spacing the other two posts between them. There are many ways you can dig out post holes. You can use a post hole digger, a two-man auger, or a hydraulic single-man auger shown here. All these items we rented locally, and it's absolutely worth the cost in my opinion. Digging these out by hand would have been backbreaking and not worth the trouble at all. The hydraulic auger, it just attaches to the hitch on the back of your vehicle, and it's actually light enough that you could wheel it around by hand.
All right, digging post holes is no joke. It's hot. We're hitting triple digits. I've been doing it for a couple of days. We got the pop-up tent up just to try and get some shade. There's a few ways that we were digging these holes. We got an auger, a two-man auger. Didn't really work out, so we ended up getting the pneumatic one. This dirt out here is so hard that when we were trying to punch through that first foot, it started bouncing around and we ended up a couple inches off. So now I'm out here trying to square these up with the post hole digger. I'm really just sitting here trying to widen the holes so that I can get them where they're supposed to be and try to get that bolt as dead center as I can.
Here I just want to prove the importance of squaring up the post holes to your string line. In this illustration, I moved the post holes only a few inches in either direction of the string line. A few inches may not seem like a lot, especially over an 18-foot span, but once you drop the line, you can see just how far off they are. My corner posts are completely centered under the string lines, but you can see one post hole is slightly off and I will have to fix that with a shovel. Now you may be thinking to yourself, great, now why is this important? In the illustration, you will see the posts as black squares that must be mounted to your concrete pillars. They have to be square with your deck, and if your post holes are off, you may end up having to mount your posts to the edge of your pillars. Depending on your area, code may not allow this. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing and concrete edges aren't typically that strong.
So now that we got our post holes dug, it's time to get our Sono Tubes set up. So on our Sono Tubes, we will actually cut them down. Out here my frost line it's not too deep, but 36 inches is code. I need to dig my holes 36 inches to at least meet with code. I'm taking it down to 38 inches. You don't have to, it's just one of those things that I wanted to do. I'll take it down an additional 2 inches so that way I could throw some gravel down there. Once I'm at the 38 inches, I got another mark here for 39 inches because I'm going to end up putting about an inch of gravel underneath the deck. That is just to hold weed barrier down. It kind of gives it a nicer look. I've got the 41-inch marking up here. 41 inches, that's 2 inches above where the gravel's gonna be. That's what my concrete needs to set above the ground. We get a lot of snow where we're at, and so that just makes it so when the snow does come down, it doesn't sit up right on top of that concrete and rot out the post where it's meeting the ground.
Once you've marked and cut your sono tube and placed it in the post hole, make sure to level it out in all directions and slowly start adding in your backfill. As you fill the post hole back up, continue to check the level to make sure you are not pushing the sono tube around as you fill. Every foot or so, I would also use a spare 2x4 to try and compact some of the dirt, just to reduce the amount of settling around the piers.
All right, today's gonna be a busy day. We gotta get all the concrete into these sono tubes. Unfortunately, things didn't really work out and I couldn't get the cement mixer, so we're gonna be doing this by hand, which is fine because most people who are gonna be doing this will probably be mixing this by hand anyway. So it's a great way to see how you do it. There's a lot of things you could do. You can go online, you can look at some calculations and stuff and see how many bags of concrete that you need to fill these sono tubes, and so that's what I did. I ended up with 15. I got an extra one just for some buffer room. So there's only a couple things that you're going to need when you get in here, and that's just going to be your bags of concrete, something to mix it with, something to mix it in, water source, and a screed, which is just really a stick to kind of level out against the top. You're going to need your L bolts to set in through the center, and from there just something to make it look pretty on top, and we'll show you how to do that.
Mixing concrete is not rocket science. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. You can read the instructions, which will tell you how much water is needed per bag, or you can just do what most people out there do and eyeball it. It's very hot out here, and the amount of water the instructions said to use is simply just not enough. You want to mix this to a consistency of like a thick gray peanut butter. If it's too thick, add more water. If it's too thin, add a little more concrete. Pretty easy. Once I filled these about halfway, I took some 3-foot pieces of rebar and shoved them into the concrete to help provide structure. If the concrete cracks over time, these pieces of rebar will help keep the pillars tied together as one solid unit. When I filled the sono tube completely, I used a piece of wood to screed off the top, and then placed my J-bolt in the center. I just eyeballed this as my mounting hardware is adjustable, which you guys will all see in the next video, so make sure that you guys subscribe so you can follow along and not only see how this project goes, but other future projects we have in the works as well. Now you just get to spend the rest of your time cleaning up the concrete and making it look pretty. You can use a magnesium float if you want. The magnesium float helps to bring the gray slurry to the top, giving you a great professional look, but I didn't have one and I wasn't about to go buy one just to make the top of these concrete piers look great. Now stand back, have a drink, and admire all the hard work you put in that day as you wait for the concrete to set and dry. Although not necessary, once the concrete has set and dry, you can take a utility knife and cut off the exposed sono tube to give yourself a cleaner look. Now in the open area where my deck will go, I laid down weed barrier and crushed stone over the top of that. I'm not a fan of pulling weeds, and I'm not about to crawl under a deck to do it. I'm laying all this down now because it will be easier to do without having to duck walk under the deck once it's built. I'm laying down half the stone now to hold down the weed barrier, then I will add the rest later after we've cleaned up the site.
Hey everybody, so that does it for this episode. Now, if you guys like what you saw and you guys want to continue to come here and enjoy the content, please like and subscribe that button down below, because when you subscribe to this, it's completely free to you, but it helps support this channel so we can continue to bring you guys fresh new content. Keep following along because the next video, we're going to talk about framing.